Okay, if you're a web developer, you've probably wondered this at least once. Are sites like Webflow, Squarespace, and Wix going to take my job and make me irrelevant? Because 10 or 15 years ago, just knowing HTML, CSS, and how to set up a basic website, maybe with WordPress, those were kind of specialized skills. But nowadays with sites like Wix and Squarespace, those sites say that they can do everything for you and for a lot cheaper than hiring a traditional developer as well. So you might be worried that you might be getting replaced by some of these companies or some of these services. And I have some good news and some bad news in this video. So the bad news is that, in my opinion, low-skill web development work is going away. So low-skill web development work to me is something like, HTML, CSS, just the basics, and you know how to set up a theme from ThemeForest on WordPress. Now this is pretty low-skill work. Just setting up a theme and changing a few default settings is not too difficult of work. And if your skill set does not extend too far beyond that, then I would worry about Squarespace and Wix taking your job. Not to mention just site builders, but these kind of skills are becoming more and more commonplace in developing countries as well. Nothing against developers from developing countries, but I'm assuming that you want to be paid more than $5 to $10 an hour. And if your only skill set is what I described, then I don't think there's that much of a future in the field. Sure, you can make decent money doing this 10 to 15 years ago, but nowadays the skills are a lot more commonplace. And of course, they can just be automated by something like Squarespace. And before, when I was making just these simple brochure websites for small businesses, some clients would ask me, okay, what's the benefit of using something like WordPress with you as opposed to just doing it with Squarespace or Wix, which is going to be cheaper anyway? And maybe there's something that WordPress has a small marginal advantage over Squarespace or Wix. Maybe something like you can say SEO with WordPress is better out of the box. And while that may be true, that's kind of a losing game if you're saying something like that, because you're just waiting until Squarespace releases the new SEO feature and does all of it better than WordPress. Are you just going to keep falling back on things that you can do marginally better than Squarespace when these site builders are improving their functionality all the time? And maybe you're thinking that, okay, maybe they want to go with you because they don't want to set everything up themselves. Not everybody wants to spend all the time involved in setting up a website by themselves, but then they can just hire somebody who's skilled in Squarespace or Wix to set it up for you. And they can probably do it quicker and cheaper than you can with HTML, CSS, or some content management system like WordPress. So if you have this kind of mindset, I think you're kind of going to be left in the past. And if you want to continue making these kind of brochure websites that are just a few pages long and you can make easily with a theme, that kind of work is going to get automated away by sites like these site builders. So the solution to this is to just learn more skills and just make yourself less replaceable. So if your only skills are building a simple website, these site builders can already do that, no problem. But maybe you can also tell your clients that you will set up SEO for them, you'll write a bunch of SEO optimized blog posts and content, and you'll help them get to the first page of Google for whatever keywords that they want. Well, that kind of work cannot be easily automated away by some site builder. They don't have that functionality, and they're not going to be able to have anything like that anytime soon. So if that's what you offer, then you're going to be a lot more bulletproof than somebody who doesn't. Maybe in addition to a simple website, you can also give them a custom and unique branding so that they stand out from their competition with some really unique and elegant design. Maybe you're a designer and you can help them out with that. Again, that's something that can't easily be automated by one of these websites. And finally, besides just increasing your skills, which is what I would recommend, you can also just position yourself differently. Like, there's this one guy I see on Reddit a lot. For some reason, he posts on almost every single web development related post. But he has a business where a lot of small businesses don't have thousands of dollars to blow at the start in creating a new website. It's not really on the top of their to-do list. So what he offers instead is a no upfront cost, $150 a month website, and he builds it all from scratch. And for $150 a month, he will make unlimited revisions. So any changes that they want to be made or any updates to the website will be included in that $150 a month. And so this is really useful for a lot of businesses. They don't have so much money to spend up front. So just doing something like changing the pricing model of your business can really set you apart and differentiate yourself from all the noise out there. And finally, you can do what I did, which is just teach yourself a completely new skill. And instead of just making brochure websites, you can learn a new programming language or start building something like web applications instead of just simple websites, simple brochure websites. So maybe instead of just doing WordPress websites, you can teach yourself WordPress plugin development and create complex functionality in these websites that you can't get from one of these simple site builders. Maybe you can build web applications that require databases and all of this other stuff that you can't simply automate away. So maybe you could learn React.js or Node.js, some front-end or back-end language or framework that you can build web applications with, because automating something like that is not coming anytime soon, if ever. So it's a really great way to future-proof your job and just to learn new skills and make yourself a more useful person. People don't owe you anything. You're only as useful as your skills allow yourself to be. So if you're the kind of person where you're worried about getting replaced by Squarespace or Wix, then I would really recommend just improving your skill set to the point where you can't be replaceable. So at this point in my career, I'm not worried at all about being replaced by one of these site builders because I know the skill set I have is way above and beyond what one of these site builders could offer. And let's be honest, if you really don't want to learn new things and improve yourself and learn new languages and frameworks, if you're really averse to all that stuff, then you're probably in the wrong industry and should just pick getting into something else. I'm just being honest. But that's how you can make yourself more useful and avoid getting replaced by one of these scary site builders. Maybe instead of being replaced by one of these, you can set to work on making a skill set where you can build the next one of these. I think you'll find yourself a lot more valuable if you do that.